Hello, good afternoon. My name is Paul Schulte. I am the founder of Schulte Research based in Singapore, and we do a lot of work with various sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, insurance, pension funds globally in the US, Europe, and Asia. And we focus on financials and financial technology and the way in which financial technology is morphing into new areas like prop tech and infratech, and this is with the use of 5G. And what kind of technological evolution, what kind of technological Apollo program could be appropriate to kind of jumpstart the US against China, who has taken a very big lead in many areas of this financial technology. This lead includes areas such as payments and e-commerce, where Alibaba and Tencent virtually dominate the Silk Road from Beijing all the way down to Singapore, Jakarta, across to South Asia, to the Middle East, and into Istanbul. That's the traditional Silk Road. Not only that, but China is moving way ahead in autonomous cars, in battery storage, certainly in 5G. It is very substantially ahead, and in many other areas, including in the area of insurtech, led by one of the great companies in innovation, which is Ping An. And as we went down the road on this question of technological Apollo program for the United States, we were troubled about some of the social issues that were arising about why millennials just don't seem to be fitting into the Fortune 100 companies. And the examples we give in several chapters were the ways in which the United States was trying to jumpstart its IoT programs, the Internet of Things programs, and these are the foundation of 5G. To give you some examples, we were looking at the example of how Coca-Cola was doing some very innovative work and spending a great deal of money doing some foresightful, smart technology implementation in terms of sensors to know basically where every six-pack of Coke was, who was buying it, when it was being bought, if it's properly refrigerated, if it's been properly taken care of and properly refrigerated on the way to the store, how it's being treated at the store, how many times the door of the refrigerator was being opened per sale of Coke, and whether the sales are being registered. And so all this together, what showed a great deal of insight into what was happening with Coca-Cola. So Austin went over to China, and he then went to start up a company in China, and he was blown away by the flexibility, the imagination, the way that young people sort of picked up the ball and ran with it, the aggressiveness, the confidence, the courage of trying and failing, the overall, general sense of youthfulness in companies that allowed him to do a great deal of things, especially with a company like Alibaba. And so Austin, created a company virtually from scratch, which looked at high-end baby food and high-end products, especially in the area of high-end fish. And so the ability to implement sort of Internet of Things and e-commerce and payments programs for things like this that really didn't exist in the United States, for him were very, very easy. And so this is where you have a world where so much was possible in China that was not possible in the US. And there's a couple of basic reasons for this. Probably the three top reasons would be that there was no there. There was not a 5 decades old copper-based telephonic, telecom infrastructure there built in the 1950s and 60s that basically became the trunk for a lot of financial institutional networks. And of course, what was built on top of this was credit cards and the SWIFT code and so forth. And this was regulated by in great detail by state and federal regulators who were on a warpath because of the scandals of the GFC back in 2008, 2009, 2010. And so China didn't have all that baggage. China didn't have lobbyists preventing progress, right? China didn't have massive credit card companies who were trying to maintain market share. And so China could basically create from scratch an infrastructure, a new type of infrastructure that could work. So in conclusion, what we have is a world where 5G is perfect for two things: extremely large amounts of data and very, very cheap individual transactions. That's what 5G is really implemented for. And this makes the greatest amount of sense in the area of industrial use, where it can monetize itself because there are great economies of scale in the areas of medical care, in the areas of logistics, in the areas of ultrasound transmission, cancer search, cancer research, prop tech, the technology involved in the layout of infrastructure, both at the commercial, the residential, and the industrial area. In the area of smart cities, where utilities, where household uses, the lifespan of appliances, the need for shopping, the automation of requirements for shopping can all be included.